Hello, happiness abounder, and welcome back. So as we continue this chat all about money and happiness, I want to get into a little bit more of the practical elements. We've been talking about how money can buy comfort, which is fantastic, how we can have a money story that we're unaware of and how we need to change that story. We've spoken about money friends as a tangible way to change your subconscious into your beliefs about money being more positive and that you have it. But today I want to get a little bit more down to the nitty-gritty, practical, a little less woo-woo, which is still practical, but something that's a little bit more tangible in life right now, which is setting a budget with a debt snowball. Now, this is a huge Dave Ramsey component teaching program, and I'm a big advocate of him, so I'm going to be teaching it here to you as well. So, that said, what is a debt snowball? Essentially, that is listing your debt from largest to smallest. You're going to actually start with the smallest, and it's going to build a snowball, right? But I want you to list out all of your debts, everything that you owe. So that's everything that you owe outside of like normal monthly utilities, rent, stuff like that. But include your car and include, if you have a house, include your house at the very, very top, right? Because that's usually your most expensive. So you're going to list all of your debts from largest to smallest. And that can be the $500 you owe on a credit card. Maybe that's the start. And then the $1,500 you owe on this credit card over here. Then the $15,000 you owe for student loans. And then the $10,000 that you owe for your car. And you're like, oh, actually, that's under student loans because that's smaller. So you're going to list them all out, largest to smallest. And then you're going to start at the bottom. And you're going to do a budget and see everything that you can put towards that smallest payment. So it's essentially how we like to do it in my household is you list out all of the stuff that you owe debt on, largest to smallest, and then you write down the next to those, the payments that are due monthly for those. Then you're going to put that into your budget, add whatever you need to in your budget that's your normal living things, and then you are going to see what excess you have. And any excess you have goes to that smallest debt payment. Smallest debt, right? You're going to be paying that off with anything you have extra. So let's say the smallest debt payment you have is $50 a month. So you've been paying the minimum, and $50 is the minimum. And you have an extra $50 in your budget that you're like, oh, I have an extra $50. This is awesome. Put it towards that payment. Now, what was your minimum payment of $50? You have made your minimum payment the $100. And then you're going to pay that off much faster. Then after you have paid off the smallest debt that was a minimum of $50 and now you've added another $50, so the minimum that you have paid towards it is, or the maximum, whatever you want to say, you have paid towards it is $100, and now it has been paid off because you've been making $100 payments for however long. Then you're going to take that $100 payment and roll it into the next debt that you have. So let's say that the minimum payment on the next debt is $200. So you've been paying $200 a month. Now you're going to add that next $100 that you've been paying to the other debt to that. And you pay that one off faster. And then you take that $300 and put it towards the next one. And essentially what it is a debt snowball. You start with the smallest. You make progress, then you roll that into the next thing, and the next thing you know, you have this snowball that you have paid off on all of your debt. And the thing about this is you will have people who will say to you, and this isn't necessarily right or wrong, but you'll have people who will say to you that they don't think that's the right way to go about it. You should pay the one with the highest interest rate first. Again, not necessarily right or wrong, but for me personally, I don't like that because that feels a lot more like math, and the debt snowball is about momentum. It's about quicker wins. I can pay off my smallest debt a lot faster than I can pay off my smallest interest debt. If my smallest interest debt is a student loan, but it's $30,000, but my smallest debt is $200, why not pay off the $200, get a quick win, gain some confidence that yes, I can adhere to a budget, I can pay off debt, and then move to the next smallest and build that snowball and that momentum and that confidence versus the highest or the lowest interest rates. So I believe in that methodology around it, which is the Dave Ramsey methodology. Now, if you'd like more information about that, and I am not paid to say this at all, but I highly recommend checking out his podcast, The Dave Ramsey Show, and also reading his book, Total Money Makeover. Game changers in my husband and I's life, and has really revolutionized the way that we look at money and revolutionized our happiness around money. Because frankly, going back to the first episode of this theme week, knowing where you're at with your money, having a solid money plan, and acting on it to have a little bit of extra so you can have that comfort and not the stress of is the roof going to be over my head tomorrow? Am I going to eat tomorrow? Getting rid of that kind of stress and following a budget and a plan and building up the momentum and the mental toughness that it takes to do that, all that combined greatly contributes to your happiness, significantly so. So while money can't buy happiness, being a good steward of money absolutely can. Knowing in your heart that you do the right thing with your money and that you are no longer scared and that you have a little bit of comfort and a little bit of buffer and you are making massive progress so you don't owe debt to anybody. It's awesome. And I will say, once you pay down debt, holy cow, it's amazing how that $50 payment, that $200 payment, that $400 payment, how all of that adds up to, wow, suddenly I don't have that debt that I'm paying anymore. I have all this extra cash. This is awesome. I feel rich. When all it took was making sure you set a budget that allowed for the debt snowball. Now, Dave Ramsey has Total Money Makeover, which is baby steps of how to get out of debt and how to have a life like no one else with money. I highly recommend it. I will not go into it here. I am not the financial expert, but the Debt Snowball has been a game changer in my life and greatly contributed to my own happiness, especially my mindset when it comes to money. So I thought I would share that with you here on this theme week. Tune in tomorrow to also understand my little tip about budgeting that has also been a game changer and helped me stay the course with my budget. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. But in the meantime, I hope that you have a wonderful day. And remember, you are capable of happiness abound.